You be with nature, you let the nature reclaim, you let the nature do it. Matthew Sternberg once mentioned, since we are in school,
Perfect.
अनजानी भूलों पर भी वह अदय दंड तो देती है, पर बच्चों पर बूढ़ों को भी बच्चों सा सदैव भाव से सेती है. He talks about nature. When you make mistakes, nature knows how to reclaim. Uttarakhand, Dubai, Chennai. If you are playing around with nature, nature knows how to recover. Nature knows how to reclaim. It's very powerful. But then, whenever it is needed, so be it a child or be it a senior citizen, nature has a very uniform way. How photography has changed my perspective, it has made me more genuine, to be honest. I think I was very fabricated. Nature has given me three fundamental learnings of life. I have become more patient. Tiger is tiger. He will not come on my command. I have to wait for tiger to come. Bird is bird. Bird will keep hopping from one branch to another one. It will not really sit there. I have to wait for bird to sit, to really play. And the moment you become quiet, the moment you start accessing their behavior, then you come to know human is the worst animal. Animals are better. I was telling Kamalji yesterday, if you start observing animals' behavior, you will realize, oh gosh, we are worst. They are so disciplined. As I said yesterday, they don't kill for the greed. They kill for the, when they are hungry, only they will kill. And for today, COVID came, people, those who have money, they start buying so much, which has become costly for others, for the poor to buy. So the nature has taught me one fundamental about being very, very patient. Second is perseverance. You guys are young, life is going to give you more challenges. If you stop at one place after seeing one challenge, life doesn't end there. Perseverance has to be there. Perseverance means falling, rising again, rising better. Fall better, rise again, rise better. So the perseverance is something.
Okay.
And third one, last is, again I said, you have to believe that there is a superpower called nature. So whenever I'm finding somewhere that things are beyond my control, I leave it to nature. Put it there.
Good initial observations. I'll come to Kamal and then we'll go to the youngest in the team here so that he can soak in what all the elder statesmen are talking about. Kamal, your journey of more than 2 decades has been so focused about healthcare, and health is a very important part. You started talking about health and environment connect, about the Good Earth, Good Air Award. You started the Good Air Award almost 8 years back, and you were very keen about the connect between health and environment, which I also tried doing in my air pollution petition which I filed, where I said that Delhi is in a health emergency, it's not an environmental crisis. And then they admitted. Now you're marrying sustainability and healthcare together. You did a mega wake up session in Dubai last week. What is your journey now going to be, and what these youngsters need to get involved with?
Thank you so much, Sudhir. Good afternoon, everyone. So first of all, चूँकि मैं स्कूल में हूँ तो एक confession कि I am not expert of SDG. I am also a student of SDG, as many of you are. My journey for SDG or health or environment was more of a personal motivation. काफ़ी समय मैंने अपनी ज़िंदगी का तो आप ही लोगों की तरीके यूपी में एक बैकवर्ड जगह है जो अब बैकवर्ड शायद नहीं है या आगे बढ़ रही है, बुंदेलखंड, उसके एक छोटे से टाउन में गुजारी और उसके बाद इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ने गया। मुझे कि सिविल सर्विसेज में जाना था और वहाँ पर सिविल सर्विसेज की तैयारी में ऐसा लगा कि उससे ज़्यादा भी कुछ किया जा सकता है और जर्नलिस्ट बन गया। तो मेरी ज़िंदगी एक्सीडेंट्स का आउटकम है। नथिंग वॉज बाई डिज़ाइन, मोस्ट ऑफ थिंग वर हैपेंड बाई डिफ़ॉल्ट। जब जर्नलिस्ट बने तो मेरी करियर मेरा स्टार्ट हुआ क्राइम रिपोर्टर की तरीके, हेल्थ में मेरा कोई एक्सपोजर नहीं है, ना मैं मेडिकल का स्टूडेंट हूँ, ना डॉक्टर हूँ, ना हेल्थ का एक्सपर्ट हूँ। लेकिन जब जर्नलिज्म में आगे बढ़ा तो मौका मिला हेल्थ कवर करने का, दिल्ली में पब्लिक और प्राइवेट सेक्टर की हेल्थ को कवर करने का मौका मिला। उस समय रियलाइज हुआ कि हेल्थ में ऐसी बहुत सारे गैप्स हैं जिन्हें ब्रिज करने की कोई फुल प्रूफ पॉलिसी नहीं है। थिंग्स आर जस्ट being developed or being created by default, again not by design. उस समय से हेल्थ में थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट बढ़ा। उसके बाद when I started my own business into communication and somehow my interest in health continued and I started working for doctors, hospitals and various pharma companies and all. 2012 में मेरे पहले बेटे का जन्म हुआ और 2014 में हमने ISW काउंसिल, जो इंटीग्रेटेड हेल्थ एंड वेलबींग काउंसिल है, जिसकी वजह से आज मैं यहाँ हूँ, आप लोगों के सामने बोल रहा हूँ, उसकी हमने शुरुआत की। इस गैप में मेरा बेटा 2 साल का था and he developed certain allergies and one of the major allergy was dust allergy, which made him sick for most of the time. We were consulting many doctors since I knew most of them from Medanta to Apollo to all that. That made me realize that to achieve health there is something which need to be fixed beyond health. You cannot be healthy just by building bigger hospitals, having more doctors, or maybe being the pharmacy of the world or the universe, whatever you do. You need to be fixing certain things out of the purview of health. My child developed dust allergy not because he had any medical deficiency or any other issue. It was the environment which pushed him to that level at a very early age. So that from there, this journey of looking at health from outside the health started, and we thought about what are the important aspects which are making people either sick or healthy. And that's the realization came that air, food, water, the way we live, the way we make our houses, the way we make our cities, the way we make our towns.
And that all becomes actually the part of the city.
Right. And then the healthcare. Right. Healthcare as a service, as a system has to be there. मैं कहता हूँ कि जब ये एयर, फूड, वाटर, गुड एयर, गुड फूड, गुड वाटर, गुड लिविंग अगर अचीव हो जाए तो ऐसा नहीं कि हम बीमार नहीं पड़ेंगे, लेकिन हम ज़्यादातर टाइम या ज़्यादातर समय जो है हेल्दी रह सकते हैं। बीमार तब भी पड़ेंगे, वो रामायण उठाएं या महाभारत उठाएं, उस समय पे भी लोग बीमार होते हैं, तब भी सुश्रुत वैद्य और इन लोगों की जरूरत होती थी, तो हेल्थ केयर की जरूरत है। और तब एक अफोर्डेबल, सस्टेनेबल और क्वालिटी हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम अवेलेबल है। दैट्स व्हाट वी कम अप विद, which we call as high five of human health and existence. Good air, good food, good water, good living and good health care for all. I feel that, committed to well-being symbol today also. And that's become our motivation to do something on sustainability. We started this journey in 2014. That was the time when MDGs were there, Millennium Development Goal, and frankly, I did not know them. When I started, I didn't read, MDCs or something. I just thought air, food, water, living and healthcare, that's it. Interestingly, 2015, SDGs were adopted. And by then, I have been retrofitting my philosophy into SDG, and I'm still learning.
Okay, Kamal, good initial observations. Now I'm coming to the youngest member in the panel. Now he has a spectacular journey at such a young age. Akash is a cyclist. He has taken rides, traveled thousands of kilometers across country. But is anybody here 15-year-old in the last 2 rows? Anybody 15-year-old? Kindly stand up. Anybody who is 15? You both are 15. So Akash has started Golden Bird Foundation when he was 15. Give him a big round of applause. Akash is everything what I can't do. His energy, he can take rides, he can cycle. I tried to do cycling, but I do 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers. And your energy, and why we are talking like this, so that you are further emboldened and you have new batteries now. And the kind of work, the range of work which he has done, he has been part of the Spiti Valley project to Kozhikode beach issues. Across the world he has been part of it, as told by Mr. Chandra, that part of the Paris Olympics. His vision would be very dynamic like the Gen Z which he represents. And I think you all can relate to him. So he started something at 15 or 16. Hear your story. Come.
So I don't inspire any one of you. Just do whatever you feel like. If you feel, then only you will do it. अगर मैं कुछ बेचने की कोशिश करूँगा ना तो तुम कुछ नहीं खरीदोगे. मैं कुछ बेचूंगा भी नहीं, because मेरे पास कुछ है नहीं, because मेरा कोई प्रोडक्ट नहीं है. I'm not even selling SDG or sustainability to you. I'm just saying, look inside. What do you really want? And I'm not even focusing on this area. I'm just focusing on the kids back there. Okay, this red guy. Can I talk to you? तुम खड़े हो सकते हो ना? अब मैं वहाँ जा सकता हूँ?
हाँ, बिल्कुल. Brilliant.
What's your name? My name is You have it? Perfect. Use it.
It's a podcast happening.
What's your name?
So my name is Siddha Pandey.
सिद्धम.
Yes.
Perfect. तुम्हें दुनिया बचाने के पीछे? हाँ यार, बहुत सच बोलना, झूठ मत बोलना.
Yes, sir.
क्यों है?
So because we are a part of the world, and unless we save the world, there's no use of being a part of.
घर पे जब जाते टीवी पे क्या देखते हो या यूट्यूब पे क्या देखते हो?
So infotainment and educational videos, entertainment.
कार की वीडियो देखते हो?
Sorry, sir.
कार की वीडियो देखते हो, कोई कार की या कोई गेम की या फिर किसी खूबसूरत बिल्डिंग की जो बहुत ही शानदार अच्छे से बनाई गई हो?
So not really, sir. I prefer to watch like current affairs or.
Okay, perfect. So
Or
let's say
history.
even if it's history,
Yes.
perfect. So what I'm saying is perfect. One, I have history. Can I ask you, what do you like? If anything, what you watch on Instagram, YouTube, or in your life, और अपने दोस्त से क्या बात करते हो? कोई कार्ड गेम की बात, कोई कार की बात, या किसी भी चीज़ की जो सही में करते हो, झूठ मत बोलो, दिल से बोलो. यहाँ ये मत सोचो कि लोग तुम्हें जज करेंगे, तुम कुछ भी बोल सकते हो.
I get into technologies.
Perfect. That's it. So मेरे पास दो चीज़ें हैं, एक टेक्नोलॉजी है और दूसरा था हिस्ट्री, राइट? मैं इनको कुछ और बेच के इनको फंसा दूंगा कि तुम जाओ अपनी दुनिया को बचाओ और तुम ये करो, तुम वो करो. तुम्हें अगर फोटोग्राफी नहीं करनी मत करो, राइट? तुम्हें हेल्थ में काम नहीं करना मत करो, तुम टेक्नोलॉजी में काम करो and you can do something which is sustainable in tech. Build clean tech. SDG को भूल जाओ, राइट? इसलिए मत करो क्योंकि तुम्हें वो टेक को अचीव, इसलिए मत करो because तुम्हें दुनिया को ठीक करना है. तुम अपना काम से ठीक से कर लो, राइट? तुम्हें हिस्ट्री में इंटरेस्ट है, तुम बैठ सकते हो, तुम्हें सजा नहीं मिली है. मुझे मिली, मुझे खड़े होना पड़ेगा. मैंने ज़्यादा काम कर लिया, यहाँ पे पहुँचने के लिए सजा मुझे मिलेगी. तो तुम हिस्ट्री में इंटरेस्ट लेते हो ना, नाउ गो एंड स्टडी हिस्ट्री. फाइंड, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मेरी भी हिस्ट्री क्या है, छोटी सी. मतलब मैं बचपन में कहा था मेरी नानी का घर इज माय हिस्ट्री. फॉर एग्जांपल व्हेनेवर इट कम्स टू सस्टेनेबिलिटी, माय हिस्ट्री इज कि मेरी नानी कोई भी कपड़ा ना फेंकती नहीं थी. अब जितना भी पहन लिया, जब पहन लिया तो उसको घर में किसी और काम में ले लेंगे, उसको पोछा बना लेंगे. जब तक वो गायब ही नहीं हो जाएगा हवा में, तब तक वो घर से बाहर नहीं निकलेगा. वो कभी फेंका ही नहीं गया. ये मेरे लिए हिस्ट्री है. सो माय हिस्ट्री इज माय रियलिटी, माय प्रेजेंट, एंड इट्स टीचिंग मी सस्टेनेबिलिटी. सो आई डोंट टेल यू कि जाओ और एक बुक पढ़ो और एक डिग्री लो. जस्ट डू व्हाट यू वांट टू डू. बिकॉज़ पूरी दुनिया अगर सिर्फ एसडीजी पे काम करने लग गई तो फिर हॉस्पिटल कौन चलाएगा और फोटोग्राफी कौन करेगा? वो बर्ड बोलेगी आजकल हम उड़ रहे, कोई हमारा फोटो नहीं ले रहा है. So everyone needs to do what you want to do. So do whatever you are doing. और ये ज़्यादा easy होगा. Because तुम्हारा अगर मन है ना, तुम्हें हिस्ट्री पसंद है, तो मुझे तुम्हें कुछ सही नहीं करना है कि घर जाके क्या करना है. तुम्हें आज भी वही करना है, राइट? और तुम्हें आज भी जाके टेक के बारे में ही और पढ़ना है. अगर मैंने तुम्हें नया सपना दे दिया ना यहाँ पे कि जाके तुम एक एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट बन जाओ, क्लाइमेट एक्टिविस्ट बन जाओ, तुम अब सोचोगे मैं कौन से चौराहे पे जाके बोर्ड पे क्या लिख के खड़ा होना है, कोई मारेगा तो नहीं मुझे पुलिस वाला. डोंट डू दिस. और एक और चीज़ क्या होती है, हम जब किसी चीज़ को सही से करते हैं तो वो अच्छी ही होती है. तो अपने अंदर झांको. क्या होता है ना, जो क्राइम कर रहे हैं या कुछ गलत कर रहे हैं वो खुद से मिलते नहीं हैं. कभी भी किसी क्रिमिनल से बात करोगे ना तो अंदर नहीं झांक रहा होता. उसको अगर असलियत में तुम शांति से बिठा सकते हो, I don't know promote meditation, but मुझे अभी एक ही रास्ता पता है, तो मैं meditation ही बोलूँगा. आप उसे meditate करवाओ, उसे शांति दिलवाओगे ना, तो वो बोलेगा कि हाँ मैंने गलत कर लिया. जब तक वो खुद की सच्चाई से नहीं मिलेगा, तब तक वो मानेगा कि जो मैंने किया वही सच था. तो अपने आप से मिलोगे तो तुम बहुत छोटे हो, तो तुम बहुत ही क्लीन हो, नीट एंड क्लीन हो, बहुत ही अंदर से साफ हो. तो खुद से बात करोगे तो क्राइम करने की, गलत चीजें करने की इच्छा नहीं होगी. तुम अगर टेक अच्छा बनाओगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली दुनिया को आगे लेके जाएगा. आज हम बहुत बड़े लेवल पे टेक्नोलॉजी में जो काम कर रहे हैं उसको बोलते हैं क्लीन टेक. व्हाट इज क्लीन टेक? क्लीन टेक इज वेयर वी पुट नेचर विद टेक. कि अगर हम कोई भी प्रोडक्ट बिल्ड कर रहे हैं तो क्या मेरे सर्वर्स रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी पे रन कर सकते हैं? क्या मेरा टेक्नोलॉजी जो है वो किसी क्लाइमेट चेंज रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर सकता है क्या? राइट? या तुम हिस्ट्री में भी काम करो तो यू कैन गो बैक एंड ब्रिंग अप सो मेनी थिंग्स जो पहले हमने करी थी और आज वापस से यूज कर सकते हैं. So I don't want to stretch it.
Very well.
But I don't want to give you new things. Just do what you want to do with good heart, and you will be sustainable.
So देखो जनरेशन का सब अब मैं इसमें क्या करूँगा with Mr. Chandra's permission, I am going to say a few things, taking the best out of my panelists. So first, मुझे लगता है कि मैं agree करता हूँ बहुत हद तक आकाश से गलतियाँ करे हम, लेकिन हम सीखेंगे सबसे. और हमें कोई ज्ञान नहीं दे रहा है, चाहे हमारे टीचर्स हो, चाहे हमारे प्रोफेसर्स हो, चाहे हमारी फैमिली हो, चाहे हमारे अंकल हो, चाहे हमारे फूफा जी भी. वो ज्ञान दे रहे हैं तो हमें लेना चाहिए, मुझे उसमें कोई बुराई नहीं देती. मैं आपको इंटरेस्टिंग बात बताता हूँ, विच इज वॉट इज रेलिवेंट फॉर यू, एंड दैट विल नॉट चेंज विद द जनरेशन, वेदर आई बिलोंग टू 70s और आकाश बिलोंग्स टू पोस्ट 2000. सो व्हाट हैपेंड, देयर वाज अ स्पीशीज कॉल्ड mongoose, नेवला. उसको देखना बहुत शुभ मानते हैं. आपने क्या पावर है वो मैं बता रहा हूँ, इसमें कोई ज्ञान देना सेल करने वाली बात नहीं होती हमेशा, और कई बार एक्सपीरियंस का एक अपना रोल होता है. सो 2004 and 5 the whole country was killing mongoose all over. So there was a movie made by a BBC photographer called Fayaz. Nobody was willing to see it. It was a 9-minute movie. Finally I saw it and I started showing it in schools in Delhi. 7,000 postcards were sent by more than 100 schools to the High Court Chief Justice in Delhi. A suo motu petition was taken up and mongoose was upgraded from non-protected category to the protection which is normally given to elephant and tiger. So that's your power. So it's not like that you don't have a duty, you have a duty. But the best part is, which I have learned at 54, that you should make mistakes. I was making mistakes till I was 27, 28. जब आप यहाँ से निकल जाओगे उसके 10 साल बाद तक गलतियाँ कर सकते हो. वहाँ मैं आकाश का पूरा सपोर्ट करूँ. अपनी स्टोरी बनाओ, अपना हिस्ट्री पढ़ो, अपना टेक करो. But you have a chance all along this journey. What this school has thought about SDG is being discussed across international forums. I was telling people how Mr. Chandra spoke in SDG conference in Dubai, and he talked about a school which has actually married itself to the concept and DNA of what SDG is. So you have the honest responsibility. And there is no harm in taking responsibility at any age. So मेरा इसमें एक ही चीज मानना है कि गलतियां हम करें. दूसरा जो सबसे important part है, that SDG examples will come from all around you. You know why firecrackers finally were banned in Delhi, and now throughout the year, series of court orders keep on coming and they are banned. The reason is schools after schools filed petitions in Supreme Court in Delhi High Court. And most of these petitions are by minors, and the judges don't have an answer what to do with them. And I know their parents would have drafted them, they would have done anything. But we have the responsibility, anybody who is 10-year-old onward, the kind of questions which I get from my daughter who is 12-year-old, they are the most difficult questions to be answered on conservation, sustainability. Like if I throw something on the floor, she will ask me 10 questions. So I take you very seriously. You take yourself seriously or not, it hardly matters to me. So वो ठीक है, आप गलतियाँ करो. अब आपके पास एक चॉइस है. चॉइस है, हम 4 हैं यहाँ पे, और आप आपस में डिसाइड कर लो. लास्ट 2 से सब बच्चे क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे.
They have some questions.
And you start asking. No compulsion on anybody. You tell the name of the speaker and ask the questions.
Good afternoon to everyone present here. Myself, Kalpana Gupta, a proud member of St. Paul's family. So, although this is open to all who are present there, but these students want to put up some question. If time allows, and if you want.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon everyone. My name is Sadham Pandey. Brijesh, I would like to ask you one question. So you've been photographing for so many years. So which is your favorite photograph of any part of nature that you clicked? And which was the most tough or which was the most difficult one?
And my friend, before he answers, let me also clarify. One important thing is that you are a doer. You have to be a doer. He's not a photographer per se. That's one of his skills. He runs a consulting company where he's the president, and he was all his life CEO. I'm just telling you that you need multifaceted personality. You just can't be talking about issues. You also need to act upon those issues.
Okay, so that for a photographer, I think every photograph has a story and an emotion behind it. Yesterday, I'm not sure whether you were around, somebody asked me what's my best photograph. And I said one of the photographs which is contextual to me is like a woman doing something in the forest, a tiger walks behind, and there are two deer who are like watching the tiger walk. So that's one of the photographs. But since I have photographed many species, including human as well, and there have been many, what I would say, different shades altogether. So portraits is something I have clicked also. The photograph which is close to my art are many, but something which I showed to you, I think during a crazy, a tiger hugging a tree. Okay, it's a tiger's behavior, by the way. They had pitching and they normally do that. So I waited for tiger to come, and I was just looking for an hour, so more than 2 hours sitting there, knowing the tiger would come to the water body. But to surprise me, the tiger came, and after drinking the water, tiger just started rubbing his back, and then gradually put them. So I have one of that photograph. It's very close to my heart.
Very well. We have to have a question from a girl now. That's the demand of the moderator. Yes. Introduce yourself and ask the question. Yeah, let's go.
Good morning. I am a member of House of Prefect of St. Paul's School. I am H.L. Singh. And my question is for Sir Akash. What are your perspectives on wildlife conservation and extinction of various animals in India and also in the entire world? Thank you.
I mean, like, I can't really have a view on it. It's an obvious thing. Yeah, we can't really have.
Ask a question again and let me help you answer. Ask again, please.
Repeat the question.
To briefly explain the question, what I mean is that what's your take on that, on extinction of
Okay,
animals?
so Rajesh, this question is actually about wildlife conservation. Let me first tell you the numbers, and then you and Akash both speak. So let me first tell you as a lawyer who has been protecting the tigers in the courts from 1998. We have protected wild animals more than any country in the world. Unlike Africa, where all the rich people from this country who have no choice of hunting in this country, they still go to the game reserves of Africa. And I haven't gone to Africa. So unfortunately, in today's country, where a particular chaiwala is greeted at the airport, where the hockey team is there and they're waiting that somebody recognizes them, be very careful. First, you need to know the tiger numbers were 300. Today, they are more than 7,000. And tiger is not an animal; it's an indicator species of soil, forest, river, air, monsoon, everything. It creates and completely protects the entire ecosystem. So we have conserved the wildlife. So I'm starting with this. Now you both can say whatever you want to say.
Okay, I think let me take a little bigger. Okay? So tiger is not only wildlife. Okay, wildlife is anything in openness. Anything that can be conserved. So the question, first part of the question answer is, we are doing better than the other nation, as Sunilji has said. Yes, we are doing great. Second is more important. What is causing a lot of conservation is the inclusion of the people in the last mile. People, those who were hunters, people, those who were surviving on them, they have now become protected. People, those who are living in those vicinity. Who else are impacting our younger generation like you? You guys are, more powerful influencers. So directly and indirectly, a younger generation, when they go to wildlife, they go to zoo, they go to tourist destination and bring in a lot of contribution to the ecology and economy, is also helping.
Okay, just we'll have it a little more factual. So I'll tell you two cases, and one of the cases have been written by this gentleman. May I kindly stand up, because the kids will need to know the facts. James Srivastava is one of the most amazing writers on conservation, wildlife, environment for India today. For 2 decades he has been writing. So in 2007 I met him. How we have to do journeys, you have to remember people, and there were no Facebook, Instagram and all this. And by the way, I don't even know them because I'm not there. This gentleman wrote a story about a very interesting case. Now that case will tell you how this country fights wildlife. So there is a state called Gujarat, there was a chief minister called Narendra Modi, and there were lions which were poached days after days. I was appointed a special public prosecutor and a standing counsel on an emergency basis. We camped there for months, and you know what we did? We got the blood of the lions mashed with the nails of the poachers who were 1500 kilometers away. And 7 years imprisonment happened. That one judgment we circulated in next 10 years to each and every district across India. That other poaching cases of elephants, tigers, leopard also need to see the same cases. This is the power of your conservation effort in this country. So I'm telling you, there is a story.
Yeah, I think we've already covered. And the last, which is more important, what is not happening and what we can do more is, again, I think to be more aware and participate, which is not happening. You know, from the government side, from public-private partnership, from the school, education, academia, everybody has to contribute towards it. So being aware, as in I often mentioned since yesterday, knowing and acting. So there are 3 AI I typically talk about, and you have to be aware, you have to adapt, not necessarily rightly said. Don't follow everyone. Look at what is more suitable to you. So be aware, adapt to your suitability, and act upon it. So 3 things if the younger
So
generation
if
has.
they want to go to one tiger's, I'm sorry, I keep on bringing in more interesting part because the kids need to know. Within Gorakhpur, from Gorakhpur, if they want to go in 150 kilometers, bus can be arranged, vehicles can be arranged, people will volunteer because we used to go when we were younger. And I think I started going more when I became a lawyer, and I will still go if I am given a choice by Mr. Chandra. Which is the tiger reserve or a forest reserve they can go 100, 150 kilometers from Gorakhpur?
I think they can go to Balmiki Tiger Reserve, right, close by.
It's always one.
That's very good. 50 kilometers from here. They can also go to Rajaji, which is close by. Pilibhit, Dudhwa is very close by. I think you are at a center of place in 150 and 200 kilometers. You can have access to one of the most beautiful wildlife sanctuaries.
Okay, Akash.
So I can add 2 things. One I've done in past, one I'm doing currently. So I spent a lot of time in Ladakh. Snow leopard conservation is a big thing over there because constantly weather patterns are changing, and because of weather patterns, they need a specific temperature in which they can survive, and also when the temperature is there, they have the habitat over there where they can eat, where they can live. So because of the constant changing weather pattern, it's really becoming difficult for them to live over there. And the other thing is the rising over tourism. They are a very shy species, so they don't really like people around them. They don't like animals much around them. And now constantly to Spiti, to Ladakh, people are traveling there intentionally to see or spot or even click pictures of snow leopards, or even some to create documentaries. And I worked over there with WWF on snow leopard conservation project, where we constantly try to educate the villagers, because the another problem is that they don't have enough food to eat, so they go hunting and they end up eating animals which are like sort of like pet animals of the other villagers, and as a exactly, and as a sort of like aggregation, the villagers go and they hunt down the snow leopards as well. So obviously now we have policies that it's not legally allowed in anyone for anyone to kill any animal snow leopard in India. So one is we can have better policies. Second, we need to conserve the habitat where this animal is living, because obviously if you're killing the ecosystem where this animal survives, they will automatically come out that ecosystem and they will conserving the ecosystem so that they can live over there. Another thing which I'm doing nowadays is that, yes, I do my books, documentaries, and art installation, but I also love music. I've been listening to a lot of music, but I don't know how to play any instrument or anything. And you know, like when you were talking about the birds in the room, and I instantly asked, hey, are these birds in nature? Tell me. I asked you this question. So what I'm doing now is this awareness thing. How do we connect more people to animals so that if I feel connected, I will try to protect it. Like we love dogs. So if we see anyone beating up a dog or doing anything wrong to a dog, we raise our voice because we love dogs. If we only protect things we love, we don't protect things we don't love, which is like the bee. So how can I make people love wildlife or animals, right? So what I've been working on for some time is I've been picking up sounds of endangered animals, and I'm working on a project with Universal Music Group where we are using these endangered sounds of these animals, and we are making very happy, upbeat music. I don't like sad things. I really love techno music. I love deep house music. So and deep house comes up with zero lyrics. We don't talk anything into it. It's just good music, not Hindi, not English. Otherwise, only people who understand the language will listen to this music. But a guitar, whatever the sound it makes, anybody and everyone can understand. A keyboard, everyone understands because you don't need to know a language. So we are mixing up these sounds of these animals with this music and making it global with like best of the best artists Universal Music Group has globally. So
Really?
related to people, yeah.
Okay, Kamal actually did something very nicely said, Akash, and I think it's your choice now. Pick up photography, pick up music. Kamal did a very interesting thing. He got a Grammy Award winner for conservation, who is a Hollywood and Grammy superstar, Ricky Case, who came to take the award. I have something more to say to you, that you become a stakeholder. So the mongoose were protected because you became a stakeholder. Firecrackers, you felt that it hits me, so you became a stakeholder. Now I am giving you two challenges. Will you convince Mr. Chandra? May I have your attention also? I have just been told yesterday night that Okefenokee Wildlife Refuge, if you can Google this was a place where a particular paint company, you will find the paint company also, I don't want to take their name because once I was engaged for them. So they actually made one of the best wildlife conservation refuge in private sector. Now when I say that, thoda heavy hai, samjho isko ki in India we take pole position. Like if Akash will be speaking in a corporate setup mein, what will happen? All of them will be shit scared that what is going to happen. Akash कुछ ऐसी बात बोलेगा जिससे वो डर सकते हैं, या अगर मैं बोलूँगा तो और भी डर जाएंगे, legal है, anything. Our country always believes in pole position. When I say pole position means if a bottling plant is coming off a beverages company, 5 people will come up from the local panchayat and they'll say, this is anti-environment and this is pro-development. Internationally ऐसा नहीं होता है. When we say that we respect and worship our river, do we really respect and worship our river? And people who don't worship their rivers in London and other places, do really keep them that dirty? So if you worship your river, you have to keep the river very dirty, right? ये questions हो गए. तो मेरा एक suggestion आ रहा है. Okefenokee Wildlife Refuge is bringing SDG Museum. Now, will you think about a SDG Museum in Gorakhpur? Your member of parliament is asking about a new idea. Make a SDG Museum. So next question now. And just imagine we have a Mr. Chandra. In fact, we were discussing and he came up with sustainable developing Gorakhpur. तो आपको मौका भी है, अपॉर्चुनिटी भी है, और आजादी भी है कि आप क्लेम करो, become the Davos of SDG. Ask more. One person, no, और भी लोग पूछेंगे.
Let me. Good morning. My question is for Sir Kamal. How is SDG initializing the health management of the lower sector of the society?
Yes.
Thank you.
बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न है. Lower sector of society को SDG क्या कितना impact करता है? Why they need to be covered under that? That's what you meant? Yeah, very good question.
Actually, the whole philosophy of SDG is very inclusive, and this is definitely very critical for lower sections, because when we talk about zero hunger, when we talk about reducing maternal mortality rate, when we talk about saving children under 5, and many other aspects, this is basically bringing the fruits of SDGs to these marginalized and downtrodden parts of the society.
Just to supplement again, I'm just bringing fact. Have you ever heard of a person called Chetan Maini? कोई भी बच्चा अगर ये बोला कि मैं चेतन मैनी को जानता हूँ तो आई गिव ए गिफ्ट और साहब यू नो हु इज चेतन मैनी? कोई बात नहीं, आप जानते हैं?
मैं भी नहीं जानता।
तो तब ठीक है, तो कोई बात नहीं, दूर बात कर लेते हैं। चेतन मैनी इज द एलन मस्क ऑफ इंडिया. He made the first electric car way back in 90s called Riva, which was sold to Mahindra. He's such a passionate person. Thanks to my friend Vijay Singh, I met him in Arthur, the little conference, and next time, Brajesh has to make sure that he comes to Gorak. He can get him to Gorak. Now, what he did for the lowest strata, you asked a brilliant question. Now, climate change, environment, damage, and what Akash talked about, the challenges, lowest strata is the most affected. Women, pregnant women, children, street children, most affected. So what he did, Chetan Maini, he realized that the auto rickshaws are big polluter, और जो ऑटो रिक्शा चलाने वाले लोग हैं वो जब घर जाते हैं तो बहुत झगड़ा करते हैं, बहुत इरिटेटेड रहते हैं, उनको बहुत हेल्थ हजार्ड्स होते हैं, because open air is not a car kind of thing, you don't have air conditioning, so they are like always battling with different health elements and all. So what Chetan Maini did, he came up with electric 3-wheelers 4 years back, and he did pilot studies, and then he put these almost more than 1 lakh plus in different cities. And he realized that when they go back, the wives are happier, the children are playing with the father, and the health problems have gone down. So who is most affected? The lowest person. Who is more affected? Mr. Chandra, I will also say that we think about the traffic constables who stay on the road for 88 hours. What are the health elements are happening to them? They are not in the high strata. Have you ever thought how much vascular pollution is damaging their lungs? Because they are staying the whole day on the road. So there has to be studies on such things which Kamal can help and do this.
Just to add on that, since you talked about the health of the auto drivers, we also do some work on the sustainable logistics. All of you know that what is logistic industry is, whatever, whichever, wherever we go, whatever we do, whatever we get, is an outcome of a very robust logistic industry. There the trucks, the ships, the planes, the containers are moving all the time. Now, who are the people behind this movement, which is also, is the powerhouse or the driver of the growth of the country. So the health of the truck drivers is again one of the most compromised space. Now truck drivers, obviously those who are people, sometimes even the fairly rich or well-to-do people also go to Canada and other part of the world and become a truck driver because it's fancy to be a truck driver there. But it's not that fancy to be a truck driver in India. Nobody can flaunt that I have or I am a truck driver or I have a truck driver in my family. So that's that marginalized part of the society. They move the economy. Anything and everything. Truck drivers go on strike. You may have to struggle to get the milk next morning, the vegetables next morning, everything. Who is bothered about their health? Similarly, there is another company which came up with an idea of putting sending the truck driver every day back to their home called Rivigo.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called continuous trucking.
Yes. So their purpose was not to bring another trucking or drivers providing or logistic company. The purpose of the company was to improvise the health and well-being of the drivers.
Yes. So basically, that's a very good question, and let's not have this feeling that climate change, SDG, ESG, all this is something very overseas strata. So they are the weakest link in the climate change. You see the poor countries, how they face the music with regard to carbon footprints and others. So it's a wider debate. So,
Can I add?
yeah, please. Both of you.
I think, let me put some numbers. There is a WHO standard. It talks about how many doctors should cover how many percent of population, right? India's situation is very, very worse with regard to WHO standard. WHO says there has to be one doctor for 1,000 people. And I think our situation is that there are one doctor at 13,000 people. Excuse me, you asked a question, can you listen?
Yes, please listen.
You're not listening to my answer. So WHO standards say there has to be one doctor at 1,000 population. In India, particularly in the heartland, the ratio is one doctor at 11,000 to 13,000 people. That's one. Now, how sustainability initiatives are helping people? Do you know Anganwadi? Heard about it?
Yes.
Heard about Asha worker?
Yes.
Now, these Asha workers are the women from the front line. They are being taught, they are being trained, they are being given some courses on nursing. And suddenly there is a crop of nursing homes, the schools coming up, right? They are teaching women and men to be nurses now. So they are getting a lot of employment opportunity. Since they are getting employment opportunity, their lifestyle is also improving, healthcare is also improving. Now there are initiatives government is working upon to make sure that the PHC, the primary health centers, are not even run by fully MBBS MS doctor, but even a BAMS doctor and some trained nurses. So these are the initiatives which are directly impacting the people at front line. And I think this again talks about that people from all this vicinity, I think we have to encourage giving the access to information that what are the job opportunities available. If they come to know that there is a nursing school nearby, they can go and get the course done, and they can give good support to become ASA teachers.
Yes. Okay, last word, Akash. And we are ending the panel.
Yeah, so I think I don't really work on the grassroots, but the negotiations I do that I can connect to. So on a global scale, how do we really see the smaller countries or the ones which do not have the big GDPs or they do not have that much money or they are not very well known across the globe like US or UK or the European nations. So if you follow COP, you know COP, what is COP? COP, yes. So last year COP 28 happened. Throughout the last year, we were negotiating for a thing called loss and damage funders. So there are like smaller countries. I was representing Barbados last year. We negotiated on behalf of Barbados to France, and there were other countries including Brazil or Armenia or Georgia, and then other countries as well. The idea is, now it is being implemented. It was an idea back then, now it's a reality. The idea was to bring different countries on the same panel, which is United Nations, where we negotiate on behalf of the smaller countries who are suffering because of climate change, which you're asking, the people who do not have money and they're suffering because somebody else is causing climate change by emitting methane, carbon. So what we did over there, we represented Barbados, negotiated with bigger countries like France, and got $777 million for Barbados.
Wow, very good. Very nice.
Last year when COP happened, it's 12 days thing. So each day is dedicated to one of the other causes. So first day was dedicated to loss and damage funds. In Dubai when it happened, it was the first time last year when on paper it was accepted that a thing called loss and damage funds exists.
Right.
Before that, nobody even globally accepted that if somebody is going through a loss or a damage because we are emitting carbon or methane or causing any kind of environmental damage, and we should be liable to pay to anyone. So one big win was that we got it on paper. Second, we got $777 million, but it's just 2% of the money we really wanted. 2% of what we actually asked for. So it was a year-long process to negotiate. Few countries came on board, but at least the good part, it started. So yes, there is some action to what you're asking on a global scale, but it's a very tiny action. We look forward to COP29 in Azerbaijan in November to see that how much fund we will be able to close by then, and then the number will come.
Yeah, and just to add, because he made a very wider thing, but for us also to know that we are living in a world where elections are decided, elections will decide the fate of climate. Like in US, you have President Trump who is fighting for re-election. He believes there is no climate change. And then his opponent believes there is a climate change. So whosoever will win, that thing will prevail. That's point number one. The point number two is that a country like India, where we have election in Delhi, we believe also that there is no river which is not clean. There is no air which is polluted. We have an exceptional government, and I'm not interested in the political part of it. And there's nobody who is even demanding clean air. And there's nobody who is even demanding clean water in Yamuna. Even if voluntarily the political parties have been promising that we will clean it, we will do it, we are not even demanding. So these are the two wide spectrum. And for me personally, if you ask me, climate change is a local thing. What you do in Gorakhpur will impact in Gorakhpur. This is what I have understood with my limited understanding, that with 50-degree temperature was there, and you travel to his house next to Kanha National Park, if you're lucky, he can invite you where you can see the tiger from a distance or a leopard walking by. And also to say to Akash that the habitat of a wild animal is extended wherever he goes. So that's the problem. Like elephants migrate 800 to 1000 kilometers in India. They start from Chhattisgarh, go right up to Tamil Nadu. And it's very common, and all the time I've been fighting to save their corridors, extend their corridors. So it's all very complicated in some way. You just remember how we use our water, how we use our washroom, how we conserve energy. This is how the planet is. Thank you. It was a fantastic time.
We have come to a very interesting part of the event where we have a chief guest, Mr. Alok Kumar, Chief Secretary of the Council of Planning Government of UP, who has just joined us. And a rainful traffic oriented trip, sir. But it's historic that you are here with us, and it's may I take this opportunity to officially welcome you to St. Paul's School, the St. Paul's family, and the Marian Foundation. It is, I said this yesterday, but I must say this, that this event, the parallel event as we call the UN dialogue happening in the city of Gorakhpur, has got great trust, great encouragement from that one meeting that I had in Lucknow with Alok sir, when I went to his office, and where usually you have to you explain your mandate on sustainability in SDG, which was not the case here because he basically is SDG personified and STEAM. And it has been amazing the way that STEAM has volleyed with us, worked with us to bring this program together, and in fact his own very presence here. So thank you very much, sir. Welcome to St. Paul. Family, and may I say the first SDG of school building. Thank you very much. I'll quickly do one wrap on the panel that we have from the lens of a wildlife photographer, the climate activist, and from health and well-being perspective of the Iceland Council. And because of you've heard of it, I'll say a few things which may be in contradiction, but I'm sure that it's all towards a more sustainable tomorrow. You know, in one of my, as to what Akash said, in one of my trips to America, I think a couple of years ago, I ventured, I always love to travel, I ventured into an area of an aircraft in Etihad Airways, which basically, and please understand the heart here when I say this to you, was basically where it was beyond what you would travel, but it's known as the kind of the apartment, But the interesting part was they give you a shower time. On a personal note, I am one person who loves to take a shower. I probably have a shower 3 times a day, right from the time that I go out in the morning to the evening. I realize that yes, I love to do that, but it's the proportion in which you do is what makes the difference, which is what makes it And the average of a power head shower is 6 to 10 liters per minute. An average shower time is 10 minutes. So when you would enter the Etihad shower chamber, they put the timer on. Right? Not that the air would start sinking 10 minutes, but they give you 10 minutes of shower time only. And the reason for that is your understanding to use just enough water which is required. So do what you feel like. Absolutely, completely agree with the concept. But it has to have the right proportion. I can't depend burgers. I love burgers, I have to have. So this is a responsible consumption which leads to sustainability, which is a very, very important concept. The other aspect I want to make is that today, this morning, when we had this very amazing conversation in the forest with the rain and the tea and the biscuits, all of that, the DFO, Mr. Vikas Yadav, said two very important things I want to share with you. He was talking about a lifestyle and a culture, which all of us were, I think, getting a little perplexed as to where was this coming from. And then at the end of the dialogue, he said he had worked for 10 years in Japan before he gave his examinations. And now today, of course, he's the DFO for Gurukul and also the main person for Gurukul Zoo. But what he said was very important. Everything that you do does lead somehow or the other to your environment. Now, how many of you are on Facebook? Right? I mean, the question is not the Facebook. Your face is the book that reads the environment. Everybody understands the environment hits your skin, right? So it's no longer the question of Facebook, but your face is the book. And I can make, and that's why you find, and you have this conversation of countries where the skin is so good and you have so many questions, or you go up the hill, the skin is the question. That book of the face tells you the environmental deterioration of the place. As simple as that. And whether you follow SDG or you don't follow SDG or sustainability or not, it is a very simple story. It has basically just broken the society into the sustainable venture into 70 continents. But I wasn't aware till the time that I went to the planning office that there could be a concentrated effort with officers and teams that are looking into the implementation of the SDGs in society. That was an interesting change. But who better than Alok Sir to talk to us about it? Sir, may I request you to share your thoughts on the planning and the SDG and your first experience here. Thank you, sir.
esteemed guests, colleagues, we have students. First of all, I must congratulate you that I would say that yes, we in the government and in the department, we have been working towards this achievement of SDG goals. But I would say that we have been tasked to do these things. But you and what your and I guess 168 indicators. But in many of the goals we will not be successful in achieving what we envisaged in 2015, that we would achieve those things in 2030. So of course, this new generation and these budding students will have to take this thing forward. So I would say we all know that our state is the only state which we did 36 hours marathon Vidhan Sabha meeting for SDG goals. Are you aware? हमारे बच्चों को पता है? Are you aware? You take pride in this thing. In 2019, on 2nd October 2019, 36 hours marathon Vidhan Sabha meeting हुई. आप सभी मैं समझता हूँ कि है बच्चों को हमारे पता? नहीं पता? उस पूरे इसमें like all our public representative, MLA, MLC, both, like everyone, there was a deliberation which continuously, like in the night also, it was carried through the night, and so apart from that, like it just shows कि जो हमारे CM साहब हैं, and he, like, fortunately he belongs to Gorakhpur, so योगी आदित्यनाथ जी उन्होंने जो इस चीज को चैलेंज अपने हाथ में लिया, एंड जिस तरीके से हम लोग प्रोग्रेस कर रहे हैं, मैं किसी बच्चे से मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है बच्चों से इंटरेक्ट करना. आप बच्चे थोड़ा जानते हैं कि एग्जैक्टली हाउ इज यूपी डूइंग, हाउ इज योर स्टेट डूइंग टुवर्ड्स एसडीजी. कोई बच्चा बताना चाहेगा, डू यू नो दैट देयर आर सम इंडेक्सेस, देयर आर सम रैंक्स. इसमें 11-12 के बच्चे हैं तो बताओ, because you are SDG aware school and you must know. अच्छा ठीक है, कोई टीचर बताना चाहेंगे? कोई नहीं? अगर ये नहीं पता है तो we must know this thing. Anyone like any other person from the audience other than my
as per the latest meeting I will go, 3 years ago, UP is ranked around 67.
Yes, our score is 67.
Rest of the states are ranked around 78, 50. So UP is around 13, 14.
We are at 18th position, and we have improved a lot. Like we are right now we are at 18th
But in
position.
some of the areas we have done.
Yes, in some of the areas we have done pretty good, and in some of the areas there is still so much desired. But like our rank stands at 18th position, and we are now 67. Like our score is 67, and we are one of the front runners among the states. So this is not very bad. Like this is really good, and we all appreciate and we all clap for whatever like. तो हमारे सभी बच्चों को पता होना चाहिए कि हाँ हम लोग एसडीजी में कैसा कर रहे हैं, एंड हमारा स्टेट कैसा कर रहा है, एज ए कंट्री हम लोग कैसा कर रहे हैं. एंड इनफैक्ट मैं तो कुछ जैसा लेके आया हूँ. बच्चे कौन बताएंगे, है ना? चलो अगर सबसे लास्ट गोल के बारे में कौन बच्चा बताना चाहे? What is the last goal? 17th goal. Goal number 17. बताओ. हाँ? Participation? हाँ? अच्छा कोई और थोड़ा सा ये चीज और एक्सप्लेन कर सकता है?
So the last goal talks about partnership for all
Yes.
the other 16 goals. So it basically aims at a more comprehensive and more dynamic approach, taking into consideration everyone rather than like a group effort rather than individual.
Like at in national and international level, all kind of partnerships, so that we sustain and we achieve all those 16 goals. अच्छा, ये कौन सा ऐसा गोल हो सकता है जो कि यूपी के लिए रेलेवेंट नहीं है? बहुत ज्यादा रेलेवेंट नहीं है, और लाइफ बिलो वाटर, जो हम लोग 17 गोल्स में वी आर एसेंशियली वर्किंग with 16 goals, ठीक है, not the one life below water. एक थोड़ा ये डिफाइन करो जो जीरो हंगर, क्योंकि यू नो एज आई एम आस्किंग यू, आप खुद भी लर्न करते हो. जीरो हंगर का जो गोल है, अब आप नहीं बताओगे, आप जानते हो, कोई और बच्चा बताएगा. आप बताओ, आप इंट्रोड्यूस करो बेटा, अपने आप को इंट्रोड्यूस करो, क्लास बताओ, एंड देन tell about the goal.
Good afternoon, I am Angel Singh and I am a member of House of Prefects and also an ambassador of SDG of St. Paul's School. Zero hunger is an SDG goal which aims and ensures that every single soul which is on earth is fed well. There are certain countries who have historical advantages when it comes to bills and budgets. We have to make sure that all of these advantages are similar for every single soul which is on earth. And Zero Hunger specifically focuses on this. Thank you.
What's up there? Actually, मैं आपको ये चीज़ बताना चाहता हूँ कि जब हम लोग गोल्स, किसी भी गोल्स को पढ़ते हैं या उसके डिटेल में जाओगे, तो दिस इज नॉट जस्ट, अगर हम लोग सिंपल वर्ड में होता है तो फर्स्ट गोल इज नो पॉवर्टी, सेकंड गोल इज जीरो हंगर, मगर जब आप उसके विदिन जब जाते हो तो और भी उसके काफ़ी वाइड उसका डोमेन होता है. दिस इज नॉट जस्ट सो सिंपल. उसके जीरो हंगर के साथ ही इसी में न्यूट्रिशनल वैल्यू कैसे हम लोग उसको इंक्रीज करें, ठीक है, कैसे सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चर को इंक्रीज करें, ये सारी चीज़ भी उसी गोल्स में. एंड लाइक अगर कभी आप पढ़ना चाहोगे, अगर ये चीज़ इंटरेस्ट हो, तो उसमें सब कुछ, और उसमें काफ़ी इंडिकेटर, लाइक एवरी गोल हैज़ लाइक 7-8 इंडिकेटर्स. तो उन इंडिकेटर्स को कैसे अचीव करना है, न्यूट्रिशनल सेफ्टी कैसे अश्योर करनी है, कैसे हमें सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चर अश्योर करना है, ठीक है. इसी तरह से नो पॉवर्टी, अगर आप लोग अभी देखते हो कितने बच्चों को कैसा है, कितना पता ये चीज़ होगा कि जब हम लोग गांव में या बाकी जगह पर जाते हो कि कितने लोग इंश्योरेंस से कवर्ड होंगे, कुछ अंदाज है? इंश्योरेंस समझते हो बच्चे, इंश्योरेंस समझते हैं, सोशल सिक्योरिटी समझते हो? हमारे स्टेट में, कंट्री में आपको क्या लगता है कि हाँ सोशल सिक्योरिटी या इंश्योरेंस से कितने लोग कवर होते होंगे? चलो ठीक है, मैं जो एक हमारा एक ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट गोल है, नो पॉवर्टी, विद नो पॉवर्टी एंड अदर, लाइक हम लोग आगे फर्दर एक और गोल भी है कि वी हैव टू इंश्योर, वी हैव टू रिड्यूस इनइक्वालिटीज. कई गोल्स में जो उसका पर्पस एक ये भी है कि हाउ डू वी इंश्योर कि हमें जो भी हमारे सोसाइटी के पुअर या जो इकोनॉमिकली चैलेंज्ड वीकर सेक्शन ऑफ द सोसाइटी है, हम कैसे उन्हें भी सोशल सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइड करें, हम कैसे उन्हें इंश्योरेंस कैन भी मिला. इसलिए लाइक एग्जैक्टली हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हम लोग लाइक एज आई सेड कि वी आर वर्किंग टुवर्ड्स 16 गोल्स. जो नेशनल लेवल पे जो मिनिस्ट्री है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ प्रोग्राम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, स्टैटिस्टिक्स एंड प्रोग्राम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, they have identified NIS, those are called NIS, they have identified certain indicators which are called national indicator framework. So within that national indicator framework, say no poverty या zero hunger, तो zero hunger के लिए हमें achieve करने के लिए, ठीक है, as I said कि zero hunger में भी this is not just plain zero hunger with nutritional safety and security, with sustainable agriculture. So we identify certain framework, certain indicators. और उन indicators को नेशनल लेवल पे जब भी उसको लगातार उसको रिव्यू करते हैं, so that कि हम अपने आप को देख पाएं कि हम लोग जो whether we are really progressing on the track और हम लोग whether we are on right track or not. उसी तरह से नेशनल इंडिकेटर फ्रेमवर्क की तरह हम लोगों ने अपने स्टेट के लिए स्टेट इंडिकेटर ठीक है, एक और इंडिकेटर है, इंडिकेटर नहीं, गोल नंबर 3, गुड हेल्थ एंड वेलबीइंग। आप लोगों ने पढ़ा होगा। आई अज्यूम दैट यू ऑल आर लाइक, बिकॉज योर आपके लिए कोई चॉइस नहीं है, आपके यू मस्ट बी लाइक फुली अवेयर। आई अज्यूम कि हाँ आपको थोड़ा सा जरूर सबको पता होना चाहिए। सो गुड हेल्थ एंड वेलबीइंग में आपको क्या लगता होगा कितना वास्ट इसका ये चीज स्कोप हो सकता है? आई और ठीक है, डू यू एग्री? इट इज नॉट सो सिंपल ना भाई। अगर हम लोग हर एक गोल की बात करें, मैं खुद भी जब भी पढ़ता हूँ एवरीडे लाइफ, जब मैं आ रहा था फ्रॉम लखनऊ टू गोरखपुर, तब भी मुझे भी पूरा उसको अगेन आई विल हैव टू गो थ्रू द एंटायर लाइक गोल्स, डिफरेंट इंडिकेटर्स क्या हैं, लाइक गुड हेल्थ एंड वेलबीइंग और फर्दर जो भी गोल्स हैं, तो उसमें ऑल इनकम्पसिंग मैं समझता हूँ कि गवर्नेंस के हर इशू को उसमें कवर करता है। अब मैं इंडिकेटर फ्रेमवर्क के बारे में बताऊं, तो गुड हेल्थ एंड वेलबीइंग अगर हमें अचीव करना है, सो वी हैव आइडेंटिफाइड अराउंड 10 इंडिकेटर्स। वन कुड बी लाइक मैटरनल मोर्टेलिटी, यू नो अबाउट मैटरनल मोर्टेलिटी। अभी भी हमारे कंट्री में, हमारे स्टेट में कई ऐसी प्रेग्नेंट लेडीज हैं जिनकी की डेथ हो जाती है ड्यूरिंग द टाइम, एट द टाइम ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी एंड ड्यूरिंग टाइम ऑफ डिलीवरी। कैसे हम उसको मिनिमाइज करें, कैसे हम उसको मिनिमम लेवल पर ले आए? तो देयर आर मल्टीपल एक्टिविटीज गोइंग ऑन जिनसे कि हमें गुड हेल्थ एंड वेलबीइंग अचीव करना है। इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी कैसे उसको रिड्यूस करें, कैसे हम अपने डिसेबिलिटी एडजस्टेड जो लाइफ ईयर्स है उसको हम कैसे इंक्रीज करें, ठीक है? सो उन चीजों के ऊपर हम लोगों ने भी अपने स्टेट में उसको कॉमन इंडिकेटर फ्रेमवर्क एक हम लोगों ने नाम दिया है, और उसमें हम लोग ये कोशिश करते हैं तो किसी भी चीज को जब आप गोल को अचीव करना चाहते हो तो यू विल हैव टू, आपको एक गोल है, आपको जो माइलस्टोन्स कुछ बीच में मिलेंगे एंड यू विल हैव टू क्लियर फर्स्ट दोस माइलस्टोन्स, यू विल हैव टू अचीव दोस माइलस्टोन्स, ठीक है? तो इसलिए आपको उन माइलस्टोन को डिफाइन करने के लिए, क्योंकि अल्टीमेट इफ योर अल्टीमेट गोल इज टू एंड पॉवर्टी, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है ना। आप जो अपने जो भी वर्क कर रहे हो, आपने डिफाइन किया कि इस गोल को अचीव करने के लिए यू विल बी डूइंग दिस 10 एक्टिविटीज। उन एक्टिविटीज को असेस करने के लिए एवरी क्वार्टर और एवरी 6 मंथ, एवरी ईयर यू आइडेंटिफाई सर्टेन इंडिकेटर्स, ठीक है? तो उन इंडिकेटर्स को हमारा डिपार्टमेंट और गवर्नमेंट उसको रिव्यू करता है, ठीक है? जिसके बेसिस पे हम लोग अपने आप को असेस करते हैं। वी आर नॉट टोटली डिपेंडेंट। अभी जैसे कि आप बता रहे थे, मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछा था हम कहाँ पे रैंक करते हैं, हम 18th पोजीशन पे रैंक करते हैं एंड आवर टोटल स्कोर इज 67। बट ये जो पब्लिश होता है, दिस गेट्स पब्लिश्ड आफ्टर अ गैप ऑफ 2 to 3 years, मगर हम लोग उसको बैठ नहीं सकते। सो एवरी मंथ, एवरी क्वार्टर वी आर लुकिंग फॉर दोज इंडिकेटर्स, सच प्रॉक्सी इंडिकेटर्स, जिसके बेसिस पे हम अपने आप को असेस कर सकें, हम अपने डिपार्टमेंट्स को असेस कर सकते हैं, हम अपने जिन एक्टिविटीज को वर्क कर रहे हैं उनको देख सकें कि हाँ हम लोग कैसा काम कर रहे हैं। आप लोग करते हो ना, आप लोग भी इसको इस तरह से सोच सकते हो कि फाइनल एग्जाम तो एक होता है, मगर बीच में क्विजेस भी होते हैं, ठीक है? मिड टर्म एग्जाम्स भी होते हैं। उनके बेसिस पे आप अपने आप को असेस करते हो कि आप किस तरह से परफॉर्म कर रहे हो। जिसका क्विज में अच्छा आएगा अल्टीमेटली उसी का तो फाइनल एग्जाम में अच्छा आएगा। वैसा तो है नहीं कि आप क्विजेस में अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहे हो लगातार तो आपको फाइनल एग्जाम में अच्छा आएगा। तो बच्चों में आप लोगों को समझाने की कोशिश करता हूँ कि किस तरीके से एग्जैक्टली हम लोग इसकी मॉनिटरिंग के लिए स्टेट गवर्नमेंट और कंट्री लेवल पे हम लोग किस तरीके से एसडीजी को गोल्स को अचीव करने के लिए बाय 2030 अगर गोल्स अचीव करना है तो उनके लिए हम लोग किस तरीके से वर्क कर रहे हैं, कैसे मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं। एंड आई एम श्योर कि आप लोग सबको जो उसके डिफरेंट गोल्स हैं, अगर हम लोग आगे बात करते हैं क्वालिटी एजुकेशन की भी बात है। अब क्वालिटी एजुकेशन दैट टर्म में जो उसको सिंपल टर्म में लेंगे क्वालिटी एजुकेशन, मतलब उसके डिफरेंट कई आयाम, कई पहलू। अब मतलब उसमें स्किलिंग, हाउ टू मेक श्योर, क्योंकि हम हर जो हमारे यूथ हैं हम उसको प्रॉपरली स्किल्ड कर सकें, प्रॉपर स्किल ट्रेनिंग दे सकें, जिससे कि वो जरूरी नहीं है कि वो एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए और अपने एम्प्लॉयमेंट सीख करने के लिए जाए मार्केट में, वो खुद भी एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट कर सकते, लोगों को एम्प्लॉय कर सकते। कैसे हम स्किल प्रोवाइड करें, कैसे हम टेक्निकल एजुकेशन में, वोकेशनल एजुकेशन में मेडिकल एजुकेशन में कैसे हम क्वालिटी इंश्योर करें। तो जब आप किसी भी गोल के आप डीप में जाते हो, so this is not just one word or one sentence, there are different items linked to each and every goal. तो मैं समझता हूँ कि आप लोग सब उस और लाइक यूथ ऑफ कोर्स जो हमारा यंग जनरेशन है उस और वर्क करेगा, एंड देयर आर सर्टेन गोल्स ऑफ कोर्स जिसको कि हम लोग 2030 में फाइनली जो हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव था उसको हम लोग अचीव शायद नहीं कर पाए, एंड वी आर लैगिंग बिहाइंड इन सम ऑफ द गोल्स, उनको हमें थोड़ा सा आगे भी एक्सटेंड करना होगा, बट विल सर्टेनली विल अभी नेक्स्ट वी हैव स्टिल गॉट 6 इयर्स और हम लोग बहुत अच्छा करेंगे। और सोसाइटी को जो अवेयर करने का अमरीश जी आपने जिस तरीके से एंड योर एंटायर टीम और जिस तरीके से आप लोगों ने ये किया है, आई गेस उसका बहुत फायदा हुआ, क्योंकि बिना जो स्टेक सोसाइटी इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेक होल्डर्स, और अगर हम लोग ये सोचें कि द गवर्नमेंट कैन ओनली अचीव दिस थिंग्स बाय ऑन हिज ओन, इट इज जस्ट नॉट पॉसिबल। कई चीजें हैं, पीस, जस्टिस फॉर ऑल कैसे अचीव हो सकता है अगर केवल गवर्नमेंट ने इंस्टीट्यूशंस भी खड़ा कर दिया तो भी केवल वो अचीव नहीं हो सकता है। सो आपने जिस तरह से एसडीजी अवेयर अभी मुझे शेयर किया कि एसडीजी अवेयर पुलिस स्टेशन भी आपने ये चीज किया है, सो देयर आर डिफरेंट इंस्टीट्यूशंस जिनको कि यू आर मेकिंग देम एसडीजी अवेयर। एंड जब मैं आपसे फर्स्ट टाइम डिस्कशन कर रहा था तब कि कैन वी क्लेम आवरसेल्व्स टू बी लाइक, वी कैन नॉट क्लेम आवरसेल्व्स टू बी लाइक फुल्ली एसडीजी कंप्लायंट, लेकिन जो आपने एसडीजी अवेयर You have termed it SDG aware school, SDG aware police station, तो वो बहुत अच्छी बात है। Again मैं समझता हूँ कि हाँ नेक्स्ट प्रोग्राम भी आपको ये चीज़ करना है, so I will not take much of the time। मैं आपके स्टूडेंट्स के लिए मैं बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं मेरे मन में, और मैं जरूर भी समझता हूँ कि आपका स्कूल जो SDG और जो प्रयास कर रहा है और इस तरह के और भी चीज़ें आप जरूर आगे होंगे। ऑफ कोर्स नॉट अभी तो मैं कुछ समय पहले ही आपसे मुलाकात हुई है, बट आई एम श्योर कि योर स्कूल एंड योर स्टूडेंट्स मस्ट बी डूइंग रियली वेल इन व्हाटएवर करियर दे आर चूजिंग। और स्टेट की ओर से पर्सनल लेवल पे भी हम लोग की तरफ से जो भी अफोर्ड हो सकता है विल बी देयर, एंड विल सर्टेनली कोलैबोरेट विद यू ऑन फर्दरिंग दिस एसडीजी मिशन। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you so much, sir. And we are now coming to the last part of our program, and we're also waiting for special guest of honor, Mr. Ravikishan, the AP of Gurukul, to join. We should be in the next 5 minutes. Thank you, children, for your patience. It is indeed a matter of great pride for us what we have been able to do as an institution and what we continue to do. But very briefly, sir, this journey began in 1978 in this town, where the father of this institution and my father and each other started this with my mother. They came in from Ranchi, Bihar, and they started the first school in a rented building with 4 rooms in it. In 82, they came to this, and you can imagine in 48, 49 years ago, this was a jungle. So they would come here, cycle down here, see the first constructions. The first, I was remembering that the first day that we came here, I was still a child. I remember it was pouring as heavily as it is today. Our floors were made of mud, and we had asbestos sheets as roof. We were definitely more sustainable then than what we are today. But it has been an amazing journey, and this journey would not have been possible on education, and neither in our recent journey of sustainability had it not been for the team of the staff and the students and the larger people of the city of Gurukul that have shown great respect and great love for whatever we do. We have had, and interestingly, the Principal Secretary of Applications, Mr. F.T. Agarwal, is a right bred of this institution. He's the next student, he was a year junior to me. And so that again is also an amazing thing that we have. So as we come to the last part of this conversation, this involves students started their own initiative where they wanted to propel. So the way we work is, very rightly as Sir said, there are various steps in brains and imagination cells. We work at level 0. We believe if you are not aware, you will not be compliant. And therefore, that is the area that we work